Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Emily.
Welcome to Stead Stories.
Each week, this Pubs podcast will be doing a deep dive on part of Homestead's culture.
And for our second episode, we are going to be discussing Homestead's Latin program with our special guest.
Hi, I'm Luke Lalonde.
But before we give you the 411 on Latin, let's talk pop culture.
So recently, I'm sure if some of you might be aware that Sam Mendes has announced the casting of the Beatles for the new biopic, if you will. And I'd like to open the floor to what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Did you see the cast?
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Okay.
So Emily, why don't you kind of recap for us?
So, Joseph Quinn, have you seen Stranger Things? You know, Eddie Munson?
I haven't seen Stranger Things.
Okay, so how's that rock you live under?
I think you guys can take the floor on this.
Anyways,
So
yes,
we've
I'm
got
familiar with Joseph Quinn, yes.
And then we've got our baby girl as John Lennon, which is
Hair stickins.
definitely a choice.
A choice.
Then we've got Paul Mescal as Paul McCartney. I think they just chose him because they both have the same first name, but
Good.
Honestly,
It's okay. No one's hating. It's Paul Mescal.
whatever. And then Barry Keoghan.
From those who are familiar with Saltburn, he's the short little
thing.
we'll be playing.
Ringo. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
that's fun.
Emily's really upset about it.
I'm so excited for that. I think it'd be so much fun. So much fun.
Anyways, before we get too deep into that, let's talk about prom. Emily and I went together
Yes, we
after a very long deliberation process. Do you have any regrets on going?
Of course not. Why would I? You know, it was so much fun.
Okay.
Great
Luke,
experience.
did you go to prom?
I did.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was fun.
That's nice. That's nice. Did you go with a group?
Yes, I did. I actually went with a very big group.
Oh, that's nice.
How was your experience?
Mine was good, besides the 30-degree weather in pictures. And then the pictures turned out not great for me and for you.
Okay.
We both look so uncomfortable in the photos. Don't even.
I wonder why.
Okay, well, before we get into an all-out fight, before the episode really even begins, let's talk about Latin.
What's your favorite part about Latin?
My favorite part about Latin is McGiss, for sure.
That's a good
Because she's like, we're all friends, we all get along, and it's like, McGiss is just like the glue that like tries to keep us apart, but makes us stronger together. You know,
True.
she tries to
Actually.
break us apart so badly,
Yeah.
but like,
Do you have a favorite McGiss quote?
I have too many that I can't think of one.
What about bringing a growth mindset?
Oh, well, that's my quote that she didn't enjoy. But McGiss does a great job of making sure, like, we have a pretty crazy class. I think we probably need to reel it in a little bit. But she does a good job of making it still fun and keeping us in check. But, yeah, that maybe I shouldn't have put growth mindset on the food list of what I was going to bring to the funeral. I'm very sorry about that. You know, I will never do that again. But
Yeah.
So you could say you're not bringing a growth mindset to Latin anymore?
not necessarily. I mean, I'll still bring a growth mindset, positive attitude. You know, just always gonna be in it. But you know, if McGiss isn't in that mood, you know, McGiss calls the shots. You know, she's the state board actually.
She's state chair.
State
chair. State
Yeah.
chair.
Oof. Yikes. Okay.
Okay, well, she's the
Yikes.
state chair. Same difference.
How about you?
What did McGiss?
Favorite Latin moment?
My favorite Latin moment?
Yes.
My favorite Latin moment would have to be the Cana way back in Latin 1 was a really special experience, I would say. So every year in Latin 1, we have a Cana, and Cana is Latin for dinner. And so we all bring food and we eat together. And in my kind of corner of the classroom, there was me and some other people. And one of our friends had brought some hard-boiled eggs to the Cana. And then push really came to shove, and two other people in the group decided to take those hard-boiled eggs and put them in my friend's backpack and then smash it up really, really fast. which destroyed all of the eggs and just kind of put them everywhere in her backpack. And then we weren't really allowed to have parties after that happened.
No.
Until Saturnalia.
Ooh, yeah. Saturnalia is like 12 days of Christmas, if you will, but it's a Latin holiday, so we sing every single day. And it's real fun.
Yeah. So
You want to do that for the podcast? Like what that song is on?
Yeah, no, I feel
No.
like we could. I think it would be really fun for everyone.
I actually don't have the song memorized.
Well, you have the first line memorized.
Okay.
We'll come back.
We don't need a solo.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's talk about some other important kind of like milestones in Latin. Besides the Cana, we have Saturnalia,
State. We have
Yeah.
state. We do
State.
have state.
Funeral in Latin too.
funeral in Latin too, which they actually just did. So if you recall, all of the Latin students playing the violin and yelling throughout the hallways of Latin, maybe about 2 weeks ago, that would be the funeral.
Shout out Peter Cromie.
Yeah, shout out Peter Romy.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to King Kagi. May he R.I.P.
Miss him.
Miss him every day.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about a little more about State as you are on the board?
Yeah, so State is it's about a weekend where you're in Madison. You go to this hotel that has a beautiful view of the Capitol. Most students go there just for like doing the basic testing, but you can be a part of Kirtamen, which is another academic competition. It adds a lot to your schedule, but it makes it just as more fun. And then everybody takes the test. You're expected to take all of the tests.
If your teacher's the guest.
Yeah. They do elections for the board. So this year we had 3 people elected to the board. One of them was myself for tech coordinator.
USB.
Anna Prokin was elected for first VP, or second VP, I mean.
Second.
Mhm.
And Addison Jerome was selected for historian.
Yeah.
And so we will be helping plan for next year's state and helping with the national convention, which is in University of Miami, Ohio. So
And that's about a week-long thing over the summer where we kind of just have State, but it's really at like another level. And I'm going to be going to my first one this summer.
That's great. Maybe you can see the cockroaches on campus.
yeah,
Thanks.
that was a
That was fun.
staple of our freshman year at Emory. There was cockroaches everywhere at night.
Well, you guys got the nice storms last year, so I don't think you should be complaining.
Okay, yeah. Well,
So that's enough.
University of Tennessee was probably better dorms, but I think the food was a lot worse.
Oh yeah,
at
it was
Tennessee.
like boiled chicken and like broccoli.
It was awful, and the
It
soda was warm.
Yeah, there
The
was
pop.
no ice.
The pop, if you will.
Yeah, no,
We're not from.
Sorry.
that's like
Sorry.
up north. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Sorry. I want to apologize.
Yeah, well, Miami, they even did a teaser trailer for the dorms there, and one thing that stood out is that you have like 50, like not even, you have barely any room. You could probably,
Yes.
you could lay down and touch like each corner of the room.
Ooh.
It's
That'll be fun.
The dorms are
Yeah.
very small, so hopefully that makes it just as more fun. It's just gonna be.
Oh yeah, I
Close
guess I'll love that
quarters.
for the boys'
You're
dorm.
you're just gonna be nice and cozy, I guess.
I can't wait.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Excited?
Mhm.
But yeah, that should be a fun thing to do.
Okay.
Hi!
Some people have said that Latin is a cult, and that people in Latin are weird, not like the other girls, if you will. So, are your guys' opinions in favor of that statement, that Latin is in fact a cult, or is it not?
I don't know if I would call it a cult. I don't know how that optics look for some Homestead publications calling Latin a cult. We are trying to get more people to join it, and I don't think that's the best way to.
It's
Yeah.
really fun. We're a tight-knit
advertise.
community.
We are a tight knit
Close
community.
group. We actually just had Classics Night
Yes, we
yesterday
did. We have a
at
very
the
nice presentation.
Weinberg Library. Yes, that was really fun, and that's open to anybody who wants to join. So if you see it on your Instagram or in the announcements, everybody's welcome. It's really fun. We get to learn about Latin myths and stories, and just kind of interact with it, and it's a good time. It's a good time.
That's another thing about the state convention is you get to meet a lot of people from other schools,
Mhm.
specifically like Brookfield Academy, Brookfield Central. Like,
Yeah, we have
there's
it's Brookfield Academy, Brookfield Central,
USM,
Beast,
USM,
DSHA.
Beast, DSHA,
Marquette.
Marquette. I'm just gonna repeat.
Lake Country Academy.
Oh yeah,
Country
they were.
Academy,
They were.
Classic
Oh, yeah,
Academy.
they're
Yeah.
too.
They're new.
Yeah, they were new.
And then one homeschool kid.
Which
My king.
My king. But yeah, that's really what makes state fun, is that it's kind of everybody gets to be together at one time. And yeah, that's a good time. Actually, moving on to hot takes. My hot take is for Latin is that I am really sick of telling people that I take Latin, and they're like, well, you know it's a dead language, right? As if I wasn't aware of that after I've sunk about 3 years into this language.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's like boring. Like, come up with something new if you were gonna insult that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care.
That just reminded me. You asked me what my favorite quote from McGee's was.
Yeah.
It definitely is. Latin is not a dead language. It's very alive.
Period.
Yes.
Period.
My thoughts exactly.
Exactly. Do you have a Latin hot take? You know, this is a
Wow.
podcast.
Well,
where
I was
people
gonna say that. I think I actually wrote down that the people saying that Latin's a dead language is a baseless claim. So I don't know where you got that from, but I wrote that in the documents.
Okay.
If you're taking AP Hug, for AP Hug it might be a dead language, but for Latin, if you ever mention dead language in the Latin class, you're basically invited to be like kicked out.
Yeah, ridiculed, essentially.
Yeah, ridiculed. I guess we'll never let you hear the end of it if you mention that to her. So
One of my favorite quotes from McGiss is, I hate when people say, you know, Latin is a dead language because every word you just used to insult me actually derives from Latin. My queen. Yeah.
that is a quote.
Yeah.
She did say that.
Yeah. Do you have a hot take from Latin?
I think our Latin program probably. Okay, I can't really say this. My hot take is that our Latin
Okay.
program peaked with my brother's class.
Okay.
That's my hot
Thanks.
take.
That's a little biased.
Well, that's to say our class is worse than their class
Mm.
because we
Yeah.
actually
Well,
didn't-
in many ways.
Yeah, more ways than one.
like we didn't even get to do the wedding
Yeah.
because she didn't trust us.
Yeah. We asked her when we were going to do the wedding, and she said, we'll see, and then she said no at the end of the try.
Yeah.
That was really sad.
Can I name call? Can I call people out for?
Yeah,
Of course.
go for it. Name
Yeah.
drop.
So Will Simon and Alec Ellsbury might be the sole reason for that.
Yeah, they were kind of known for disrupting.
I'm kind of sad that just because of their poor behavior, we all have to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever McGiss says goes. 'Cause she is state chair.
She is state chair. Believe
She
it or
is
not.
full authority.
Yeah.
Another hot take. Claudius was actually a very good show.
Yeah, Claudius was fire.
Well, I think a hot take would be that it was bad. Because,
It
Really?
seemed like everyone
I
hated it.
felt like everybody didn't like it.
well, I thought everyone did like it. I mean, we sat on a different side of the room than
Then someone.
your people. So, I don't know what your side of the room was saying. But our side kind of hated it.
Well, Alexi said he liked it, but he was a little bit
Glazy.
yeah. Well, he would turn his desk 90 degrees to face the
Fully
screen.
towards the projector.
Locked in, hunched
And
over.
he had the horse blinds
Yeah.
on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's also a film enthusiast, so
Is he?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He is.
But yeah, I Claudius was this TV show that we watched, and for months on end, that was about the Julio-Claudian line and all of the emperors of Rome.
Mhm.
And
Some crazy stuff went down
Yeah,
in
some
that show. If you
insane
have
stuff.
time to watch it, I highly recommend. There's
Yeah.
some incest, some murder, some drama, cheating. It's a good time.
It is a good time. It's a really fantastic show. Robert Graves did an incredible job, really.
He
My
ate that
favorite
time.
part of that whole series was when they freeze frame on Claudius when he becomes emperor, and it's like a freeze frame from a sitcom. And he's just staring.
He's
at
just
this-
literally.
Yeah, you have to watch it
Yeah.
to understand.
I think my favorite part from my Claudius is when God, what is his name? The guy who goes mad.
Which one?
Caligula.
Caligula. When Caligula dresses up in woman's wear and dances at
Oh,
night
that
in
was
front
fun.
of Claudius, that was by far my favorite. That was so funny.
That was something.
What's your favorite part?
My favorite part is kind of a spoiler, but I will say that it's when that one, what was his name? Was it, I think it was Caligula, when he,
Gets assassinated?
no, when he
Assassinates his wife?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that was fun.
That was a really awful scene to watch. It was
I know, but it was
gruesome.
memorable.
That might be the worst take.
Okay.
That
Okay.
That was your favorite?
Well, it was the most
When he's
entertaining.
sick
Because
as-
everyone in the room was like, oh my god, no! And then,
no one cared. That was like the most forgettable moment. of the
okay,
whole
way to be a
series.
Debbie Downer here. Thanks.
Okay,
Thanks a lot.
do we want to maybe end on a high note? Anyways, we all encourage you to join Latin and especially to join Latin Club. And do you want to plug the cake eating contest?
Oh yeah. When is that? This or next?
Well, I don't know when that is.
I think it's the 18th.
next Friday. I don't even remember where it is. It's in like a
Some
park.
Elm Grove Park
Yeah,
or something.
Elm Grove Park. Check the Instagram. You'll see cake eating contest between me and Augustia, who is the parliamentarian on the WJCL board.
You gonna win?
Are you
Yes.
winning? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We'll be there in spirit and in support. Our countdown.
Oh, I actually don't know.
It's the Met Gala.
Well, I don't know how many days that's in.
Okay. So, anyways, our countdown for this week's episode is the Met Gala, which is May 5th,
So,
and it's that many days away.
You guys are really good at this.
okay, hold on. How many days until May 5th? Bro, why didn't it go? How many days until May 5th?
We're keeping this in.
No, we're not.
This is the advertisement. This is like the sneak peek.
How many days until May 5th? Come on now. You can do it. 25 days.
25 days.
25.
Until.
The Met Gala. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I know what the Met Gala is. I just
Okay,
don't
well,
remember.
you didn't know who Eddie Munson was, so, you know.
Mom and Dad are fighting. Anyways, check back in next week, Wednesday, for whatever they're doing then.
The third episode.
For the
Which will
yeah,
be
for our
very
third.
interesting and about a different part of Homestead.
Yeah. Okay.
Or something.
Or something maybe. Thank you. Okay.